Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and my name is the Summer Sambit. Let's talk about the whole farm murderers problem in South Africa, because I know that you know that we've been hearing these stories that make your blood run cold, and I'm about to break down, based on what's actually out there, without any exaggeration, the facts that I've pulled together myself. And it's very frustrating because it feels like the ANC government under President Cyril Pinocchio Ramaphosa is brushing all of this stuff I'm about to say to you under the rug, especially when it comes into their push for land expropriation without compensation, which is why they've been ignoring this problem. So I'm going to walk you through some specific cases, how they're manipulating it, and how it all connects to the bigger crime issues in this country. So hang in there. It's going to be heavy, but we need to talk about it straight. First off, let's talk about some recent farmer murders that highlight the brutality. Let's take January 2025 alone. This year, there were 23 farm attacks reported, and out of those, 2 ended in murders. That is not ancient history. That's this year. One heartbreaking case from earlier in 2025 involved an elderly couple outside Orusgat who were brutally killed, showing just how cruel these attacks can be. These are not just isolated incidents. These aren't just isolated farm attacks. No, farm attacks often involve assault, rape, robbery, and then the murder. Mostly on remote properties where help is far away. So basically, make the person feel less than human and then kill them. Another one that grabbed headlines was the pig farm incident in August 2025, where 2 women, Maria Mahato and Lucia Ndlovu, were killed while allegedly scavenging for food. The farmer involved, Adrian de Wet, walked free after the charges were dropped, sparking massive outrage. And get this, in a separate case that same month, a white farmer was on trial for allegedly murdering 2 black women on his property, which fueled calls for justice across the board. Unfortunately, when the same thing happened to the white farmers, nothing happened. These stories show that it's not just one-sided violence. This isn't just one-sided violence. It's a deliberate attempted one-sided acts of violence. And then the one gets the attention and the other doesn't get attention, but at the end of the day, nobody gets justice. And the government flat out rejects reports that paint farm murders as anything special. For instance, in August 2025, they pushed back against a US investigation that said these aren't just ordinary crimes. So the US was calling for clearer action and condemnation on this matter, and rightfully so. And you want to know what the ANC's response is? Well, they released a statement saying, no man, only 6 murder cases were reported in the farming communities in a recent period. So they were trying to set the record straight and downplay this entire thing as a part of broader rural crime. They even went as far as rejecting a full US report on farm attacks, insisting that most crime victims are black and that they're working on police improvements. Even if that was the case, so we shouldn't pay attention on farm murders anymore, it's almost like they're minimizing stats to avoid scrutiny. Official police data shows farm murders have actually declined over the years, but attacks are still happening. Nearly 300 white-owned farms were hit in 2023 with 49 killings. Yet, the government labels them as regular crime, not something deliberately done, even though groups like AfriForum argue this is a unique matter and needs specific action. Parliament did condemn farm attacks back in 2020, calling for more visible policing, but that was years ago. And things haven't really changed much. In fact, the racially motivated farm attacks have gotten worse. A whole lot of folks connect this to the ANC's land expropriation policy. They've been pushing to amend the constitution for land grabs without paying the farmers for their land, aiming to fix historical inequalities from apartheid. But I say downplaying farm violence helps grease the wheels for that. Remember when Elon Musk and even Trump accused the ANC of sparking genocide through this policy? In 2025, a new land law reignited that debate. with claims that it endangers farmers. The link: if the farmers are seen as ordinary, so not white, it makes it easier to push expropriation, like it's tied to some racial tensions or violence. And if the farmer's white, they'll take it from him first, before the other guys. Farmer tax are not new. I mean, they've been a thing for decades, but for some reason, they've now increased. But the ANC's focus on land reform without addressing the security issues the same farmers they want to take the land from feels deliberate. Both black and white farmers get targeted due to this isolation. But the narrative around white victims got amplified as white genocide, which was not true and which the government dismissed. But the farm murders are still a thing. And still, ignoring the brutality doesn't help anyone. And it's not just farms. Crime in general under the ANC since 2020 has been a nightmare. Stats SA's 2024-2025 survey shows housebreaking as top household crime, affecting tons of people, especially in the farms. The murders dipped a little bit, down 3.4% in early 2025, but we're still talking 63 people killed every day, with over like 11,500 farmers every year. The murder rate climbed to 44 per 100,000 in 2023, and between 1994 and 2018, over 500,000 people were murdered in total. If that's not genocidal, then I don't know what is. Sexual offenses nearly tripled since 2020-2021, jumping from 25,000 to way higher. Attempted murders and assaults are up, carjackings too. And you want to know where a lot of that happens? The farms, where nobody's watching. People are so scared that 43.3% now take extra precautions, like only walking during safe hours. The fourth quarter stats for 2024 and 2025, from January to March 2025, show that this crisis is not only continuing, it's increasing. Human Rights Watch noted in this year that gender-based violence is also skyrocketing, with police stats showing increases from April to June 2024. And let's be honest, when someone attacks a farm owner and his or her family, you really think all they do is just kill them in there? Just why do you think the rape cases are increasing rapidly? I mean, come on. We weren't born yesterday. By downplaying farm murders as ordinary, the ANC avoids the tough questions while advancing land policies that stir up fear. I mean, farms are very vulnerable spots in a country where crime is out of control. We've got housebreaks, we've got assaults, you name it. We need better policing, not excuses and dismissals. What do you think? Should we dig into more cases or the stats? I want to keep the conversation going with you. Do you think I was telling the truth, or is Summer Sambit bluffing about the farmer tax? Am I bluffing about everything? Like, if this is not a racially motivated crime, then I don't know what is. Because this case has been increasing a lot. I mean, every day you hear of more and more farm attacks. And then you see those brutal images. Maybe you'll see like a white old couple there. The old guy looks very beaten up. For what? So they didn't even bother killing him. They just beat the living daylights out of him and then poured boiling water over him, took all his stuff and then left. Why didn't they just come in, tie him up and then leave? No, they came in, they beat the daylights out of him, pour boiling water over him, rape his wife and then leave, because they didn't want to kill them anyway. They just wanted to steal some stuff. Isn't that racially motivated? Tell me what you think in the comment section. Like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.